Hello, welcome to the MakeTeamWork Lab. Happy to be here again with you all, new faces, familiar faces. And our goal with this community is for us to together learn and strengthen our teamwork skills, share experiences, and learn by doing. And we are Adam and Lottie. We also have Michael here. He turned his camera off. She's also part of our team. MakeTeamWork team, and we activate great culture. And this is the space that we have to be with you, to experiment with you, and also learn here and take new contents to our partners, to our clients. And just short tips, if you haven't used Mural yet, the most important functionalities for you, first to adjust your Zoom settings according if you're using a trackpad or a mouse. That will show how you will zoom in and out. And other than that, the only thing you need to know is to double click in the board, add a post-it, and write what you want. Here we also have a few links and resources about the topic that we're going to explore today, so you can check further. And also we have here the link to subscribe to Mural emails and receive their updates. So we can all work better together in this platform. And the topic today is commitment. So great teamwork needs commitment. We now it's 6:06. We will go to 7 and then we stay more half an hour for a quick chat. Since the topic is commitment, you still have my music, no? I should turn that off. No? So wait, I need to stop my Spotify because I'm still like clubbing in the background. So here. Oof. It was a bit annoying. Thank you. So since our topic today is commitment, I'd like to align first. What do we see? What do we name as commitment? And the definition that we take from Lencioni model is that commitment is about the team, the individuals buying into a decision when they don't naturally agree. So this is not what I would do, but this is the decision, and then I buy into that decision. So it's the ability to buy in when there's a lack of consensus, and being able to deal with this lack of consensus and move forward as a team. So now is the moment that I invite you to join me in the Mural board, and I will ask you, based on this definition, the ability to buy in when there's lack of consensus, what comes to your mind when you think of commitment in your team? So this is the time I will share the link. Any questions, comments till now? How do you feel? Adam would like to? All good? Okay.
All good. I think you absolutely nailed it.
So you should have the link. Oh, I sent you the waiting room. So let me send you the room. Everyone in the meeting. You have the Mural chat, the link in the Zoom chat now. And if you get lost in the board, you will find in the center of the page in the bottom an L with a star, kind of golden star. If you click in this icon, you will be following me and you will be seeing what I see. So now I will stop sharing my screen. So we all join the Mural board and do the warm-up based on our definition of commitment. What comes to your mind when you think of commitment in your team? So commitment is when a team buys into a decision that they naturally don't agree. So we have everyone pulling in the same direction, ownership, self-drive, self-food, looking for solutions together. So everyone has a role to play, following up into the decisions and agreements. And in general, do you feel that there is buy-in and commitment in your teams? Thumbs up, thumbs down. It's I like this one. Context-based. So we have grit. What else? Focus on delivery. Resilience in the team. Pointless discussions. So in one hand, there is the clarity of roles and ownership in terms of commitment. And at the same time, the discussions, the need to follow up or no follow up, and being able to go for the same direction. I will give 5 more seconds for us to finish this warm up. So if you still have something to add, please.
I think they're all super valid. This focus on delivery and at the same time, this connects very well for me with psychological safety, because sometimes during delivery, we just need help of somebody or assistance or perspectives. And if we don't have psychological safety to speak up, then we might avoid this situation. It's super important. Now I see accepting decisions taken by the team. Yeah, exactly. This is what commitment is in the end all about. We all in team understand shared objectives. We agree to support team decisions. And even if in the beginning we may be initially opposed or want to propose different idea, after clarifying discussions, we as a team commit and then collaborate together, and this is the magic.
So you're already jumping into the input.
Already,
no? First I was just reflecting.
I'm connecting, yes, I'm connecting the dots.
Connecting the dots.
I see pointless discussions, a lot of pointless discussions. I see following up into discussions, agreement, yes. How does this look like? Yeah.
Who added commitment is scalable? What does it mean? What can we learn from it? It came to my mind something that you lead by example, for instance. I don't know if this is the sense of scalability, that it's something that leaders do and people see the impact. Was it Zoe? I saw that you opened the mic and closed.
Hi, sorry, I can't put my camera on because I'm multitasking, but
okay.
What I meant was like it looks different for everybody. So levels of commitment can go up and down throughout a project. It's just wrong to assume that everybody is always fully committed. You know, it can be a moving target.
I will add that in another point because I think it's very good. So in a project, just to follow up on this question, do you feel that there is the safe space in your teams to share when your commitment level is low? Good, nice. So let's move forward. We have the same structure that we've been using the last labs. So we'll have a bit of input on the topic and we'll do together reflection and sharing. And then at the end, we will have a moment to discuss, get your feedback, and then check out. To start talking about the 5 dysfunctions, the theme of this session of MakeTeamWork Lab, when we think about a great team, they accomplish the results it sets out to achieve. But it's not as easy as that. If we look at how teams work, they do have the dysfunctions that needs to be overcome. And the first one we discussed is the absence of trust. And it's the first one, and it's very important because the vulnerability that you're able to share and promote this trust is what is needed for you to be able to go for the next stage, that is the fear of conflict. So when you trust each other, you know that you can engage in this passionate conflicts, and it's the best for you to achieve the decisions. And when we think about how we move from the fear of conflict to overcome the lack of commitment, the link is when you know that you can disagree and all ideas are open at the table, you expressed all the perspectives, all the pains, all the fears, the team members know that they can embrace a decision and abandon their initial belief because they were heard. So there was a discussion, there was this intent to question the position. And at the same time, when there is a definition, we can move forward with this definition. And this is the focus of today. So the dysfunction, let me summon you again. can be observed in situations as a decision is shared. The team that is present says, okay, nice, let's do it, let's move forward. And then when this leader gets back to his teams, it's like, actually, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it will work. Or you, at the moment, you just accept it. And then you are not supporting, you don't have the buy-in. And then after some time, if something happens, you are the person to say, yeah, I knew this was not a good idea, actually. Like, are you working with this team and towards its goals? So what we understand here is that everybody needs to be committed to a decision when the decision is made. So when you have the chance to share your thoughts, the team understands that they can align to the decisions and go for success because everything was shared and discussed. So the goal is for you to be able to open our possibilities, and after the agreement, there's no second guessing. This is what we're going for. And the problems that this dysfunction creates is that there's ambiguity. So there's lack of clarity and alignment. You create delays, misalignments around goals, your roles, what is priorities. And then you see this impacting many areas of the companies, for instance, creation of silos. Would you like to add, Adam? Or anyone else that resonates with this content? Makes sense for now?
Actually, well, maybe one sentence, sentence from me. I think that it's crucial here to point out that the leader's role is really to take the team through conflict. So actually the fair share of voice is not enough. The discussion should last as long as we achieve the shared understanding of goals and priorities and our roles right now. This is maybe the only thing that I would like to highlight here.
Mm-hmm. And there is this phrase from Lencioni as well, that when people don't weigh in, they don't buy in. So for you to be able to buy in, you put your effort there, you share your perspective, you engage in that topic. And this is the first part about the input. And now I invite you to do a reflection as we've done before. So this assessment, I invite you to use this scale to indicate how each statement applies to your team. The first one is, team members know what their peers are working on and on how they contribute to the collective good of the team. So I ask you to take one of these dots here and move to the first area if you think that happens rarely, the second area if it happens sometimes, and then the third one if it's something that usually happens. So team members know what their peers are working on and how they contribute to the good of the team. So I see we have comments also from Zoe. So love the idea of evaluating the consequences of low commitment. And it feels like we're discussing a project. So there are team members here in the room, no? So good reflection also from the same perspective. And I see that we have usually here, but none of the usually are on the top right, no? Would you like to have more, to know more what your peers are working on?
It depends.
It might be too much as well, no?
Yeah, but I think because I have to know what they are doing because I'm a Scrum Master, so every day I have daily with them. But sometimes it's not clear and very fluid what's going on there. They telling me what are they doing, but sometimes they just skip the true situation and so on. You know, it's very typical.
It's complicated, I would say, Basia. And it's like, because we're in the same project in the same team, so it's like from your perspective, you know more what is going on and what is happening. And just to give you a example from today, we had a short call with our UX and our product owner, and then he said that he has basically no idea what the UX is working on. So that there is no update, that it is very difficult to follow to some extent in some cases what is actually happening. And this is also in case when someone, for example, refuses to track their activity, so you don't really know what is happening. And if they do it because they have this lack of trust maybe, or they have this fear, that's maybe the other story. But still, I guess that with this, we are struggling a bit with this lack of commitment within the team, right? Or like this feeling and this silo approach. It's really we can talk for hours. I don't really want to go into that direction. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's worth to reflect onto how much are you committed, considering that you don't know what others are doing to deliver to the same goal, right? So it's also something to look at. So the second question for us to do now, I will summon you again. And I see that we have 19 people in the chat and only 15 in the board.
And
so,
Carolina actually has raised her hand. Maybe Carolina, you want to jump in?
Hi. Yes, I just had it a small like an add-on, and add-on, such a nice misunderstanding. An add-on that sometimes this contribution and commitment also depends on understanding the team on a different level. So not only the people who are in one room or doing one project, but also understanding the needs and responsibilities and the roles of people who work on a different position than yourself. Yes. So for example, my struggle from last week is basically the fact that it appeared that I am the only one who actually knows what the product is about. Yes. So leaving the team for a week of a holiday was extremely interesting, looking at them not knowing which task to pick up without me telling them. And while at the same time, for last half of year, I've been spending my time on just telling them, like, hi guys, this is your project. Like, you can do it in the order that you want to. Yes, just let's discuss the steps. Yes, let's discuss the stories. And yes, for me, it is already a lack of commitment. Yes, not being able to leave the team knowing that they are actually knowing the product enough to handle them. To handle the work, yes, to cover my back as well as I've been covering them.
And this goes also to the next dysfunction, that is accountability, no? I think that will be interesting. So now I invite you to do the assessment on the second question. So team members leave meetings confident that their peers are completely committed to the decisions that were agreed on, even if they were in initial disagreement. What do you think? What usually happens in your team? Do you leave meetings feeling that everyone has a clear understanding and are committed to the decisions just made? I see someone struggling between sometimes and usually. So sometimes. Someone that added rarely would like to share. Is that a frustration for you and how you feel your commitment? If we were in butter,
let
we could
someone
use
else explains, because I can talk anytime, but I can.
Yeah, do not take over my therapy, please.
yeah, this is complicated as previous.
No, I'm actually between sometimes and usual, so not me this time.
Okay.
I'm laughing to you, Dita.
Yeah, know. Because we have the same, I guess, the same feeling that we basically, whenever we leave the meeting, when we have some kind of some final decision, when there was an initial disagreement, and that is pretty often. Okay. Not to say that this is like the business as usual. It's just that we leave the meeting, and I know the moment I click log off or like leave the meeting, I know that half of the team will do what we agreed to, but they really don't want to do this, and they really don't see the point, and they are really dissatisfied with the effect because it was a completely different direction that they expected to, or that they were actually set up to take by someone else, right? So this is like we have, I guess, this continuous problem with feeling that we are all members of the same team and that our ultimate goal is to basically deliver something together. It's like we have several people just pulling into their own directions and trying to, in a way, impose their own decision on the others, right?
Or
so
they agree, but after the meeting, when they meet on another meeting, they disagree. Because
in
they
their
don't want to
silo,
ask
right?
questions.
They have this silo meeting and they have their own discussion, and there is enough if there's just one person that disagrees and have this, let's say, aura of imposter leader, I would call him, right? So, and then everything collapses, and it's like, yeah, long story.
Yes, and then the worst case scenario is doing all the other tasks far much faster than the one that they disagreed with, despite the fact that this is the most needed one.
But the pain also might come from the lack of openness to listen to their perspectives and then actually go into the conflict around it. And there's this concept that we also talked last time about disagree and commit. So invite the team to engage in disagreement. And after you took everything that you could, okay, what are we going? And agree, like also explaining, okay, so we're going into this direction because Jonas shared this, but this is not possible. Then Barbara suggested this, and let's go for these options. Are we all okay with it? And it's also interesting that we don't have any dot in usually, because we are thinking together very soon in the session, how might we promote this clarity around decisions with our team?
I was actually pretty close to usually, and this was also one of the stickers that I put in the very beginning, like when we started the discussion about the commitment. So my approach, like when it usually works for me, is just having as many discussions before actually making the decision or before the development starts. So it gives the perspective to everyone. Yes. So in the end, we may say as a group, okay, so obviously we wanted to create a turtle, but we need to make a snake. Yes. But we've discussed all of it, looked for the solution. Everybody asked whatever they can. And then we just look at this sad snake and think that the turtle in our head was beautiful. So this is what helps me in usually. Yes, if really both parties understand the reasons behind, then it usually goes well.
But that actually requires some kind of a maturity. And if you don't have people who are mentally and emotionally mature enough to accept the fact that their decision, even though the best one or the designed, even though the most fabulous one will not be implemented and will not be taken over, then basically whatever you say and whatever you do and however you actually present it to them, at the end of the day, they will be very unhappy, and that actually develops this frustration that is growing and growing and growing because they still do not feel that they were heard, right? And that their decision was not chosen. So they're really not happy with the effect, right? Even if it's a collective decision, you still have some people that are not mature enough to accept the fact that their direction was not the one that we followed.
I think it also needs time, because some people need more time for it to resonate. And if it's of course, companies need to keep things going as well. We cannot, we need to make decisions. And if they feel rushed, I think that's my feeling. If they feel rushed, that okay, we heard you, but okay, now let's do the other thing. I think they can get more resistant. But if there is time in between, so not everything happening in one meeting, for example, and okay, let's take it again. I feel that this can let also people reflect afterwards and think, okay, and not be in the emotion at that moment, because knowing from myself, I can get really passionate about what I'm talking about, and at that moment I cannot change my mind. But if I think about it later, then I'm more open to say, okay, I think the other one is better in the end.
So the pace, and maybe having the opportunity to share that you might need this time in between.
Yeah.
And Michael also raised his hand.
Yeah, well, from my point of view, it's just a simple question that you need to ask at the very end of the meeting. And this is just like, who does what until when? And I think if this is clear, because I think in most of the time it's not clear. Everyone is nodding, everyone is agreeing to something, but no one knows who's supposed to do what. And if you have like a commitment that there's, you know, a name and a time attached to some kind of task, then I think the chances it's much greater that things work out well.
Agreed. Lek, I don't know how to say your name. Tell me.
You said it beautifully. Thank you.
Okay.
There's something that Angela said that really kind of jumped out at me, and it was that fact how much it might be a reflection of a situation where people were given the illusion that they were listened to, but there was already predefined result that was going to happen. And I've been in that situation many a times with, you know, me and my team being listened to and being given the chance to speak up and voice our opinions and so on. But then none of it transpired. None of it came to be, and that was a big problem, because then, you know, next time it happens, people go, "Oh, what's the point?" So I wonder how much of that situation that Angela and Judita are describing is that potentially a knock-on effect of something that happened before. It's not to say to excuse the situation of the people and their behavior, because they should have that maturity. But I think there's a lot to be said for the environment that the people were working for and within before.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, I also saw the other day an ideation session on how my tweet that was already decided. Okay. Well, let's go for the next question on the assessment. So team members and discussions with clear and specific solutions and action plans. So as Michael mentioned, maybe with name, time, and what to do, no? I see that it's tricky to make it a ritual in the team, no? It's difficult to, from this and the previous question, to actually close the meeting with clarity around next steps and specific resolutions and plans. Good that we're designing for it today. So what I propose us to do now is to reflect on how to achieve commitment. We did the assessment ourselves and we saw that we're not doing very well, I think. There's opportunity for improvement. So the main things for us to be able to achieve commitment, the first one is the buy-in itself. So the achievement of honest emotional support, even if I had naturally another perspective, another idea, since it's been decided, let's move forward together. And here comes this understanding also that commitment is not consensus. And if we, for instance, in this group, we're 16 people, we want to achieve consensus, it would be very difficult, and not necessarily the consensus would be for the best to deliver to our objectives. So it can take a lot of time, it can lead to frustration. It doesn't mean that what we decide then with consensus will make this team feel more engaged than a discussion and a decision with explanation. So what we understand, and we here use the perspective also from Patrick Lencioni and his research, is that people don't really need to have their ideas adopted in order to buy in. What they need is to have their ideas heard, considered, explained within the context of this decision. So what Lex suggested, no, if you know that you're being heard, but it's actually fake, I think it's even worse, because you create the expectation and then you bam them in the face. So the importance of actually engaging into conflict, listening to everyone, and when the decision is made, being able to create the buy-in. But there's no buy-in if we don't have clarity. And clarity here is the removal of the assumptions and ambiguity from a situation. And let's be honest, all decisions and all contexts, they do have assumptions and things around them that need to be clarified. So we can only achieve commitment if we are clear about exactly what is being committed to. What are the priorities? Who should do what? So we avoid making assumptions and wondering and commenting on things that we don't know what they are about. So very important here, ask questions, make sure everyone's aligned. We finish a meeting, ask everyone, what did we just agree to? Ask everyone to write it down and share, and make sure that this is something, there is clarity, because even if there's buy-in, if there's buy-in without clarity, it's a buy-in that each one of us will do something different. Carolina, please.
I just wanted to share that, like from the leader perspective, that you know, we are talking very much about this assumption. So I have one experience to share. Each time you think something is obvious, it means that this is exactly what needs to be discussed again. Because if you have that strong feeling that this is obvious for everyone, then definitely there is someone who is still missing that, because those obvious stuff that comes to our mind are usually some establishment from the past that someone might be missing because of being new or just joining the project.
Mm-hmm.
And building on that, it's very important to build this clarity and over communicate. There are theories that certain message needs to be transmitted 7 times to be remembered.
A day?
No, if you want to make progress fast, I guess a day would be great.
Good.
But sometimes when I repeat myself a lot of time, like what we just agreed, they sometimes very angry. I don't want to hurt it this time and another time and so on. I know it. So we have to try to find the balance. How many times we have to repeat ourselves? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's exactly an indicator that you've asked enough. When you have this first comment, oh no, I already know, you don't have to repeat, but yeah. I saw Damian also wanted to jump in, no? And Angela.
Yes, indeed. So for me, in my experience in managing team, it's always be very important when the team meet together to acknowledge who are the introvert and who are the extrovert, because often you get to hear the extrovert, you ask questions and you get the extrovert to then answer those questions. And then the introvert to maybe like, especially I see that like in product leads or more technical type background or management team, even with that composition, where the introvert will not tell you what they think. And you leave that meeting and they actually become the biggest opponent, even if you had appreciated that their the point of view, that they kind of say nothing or they're silent, but actually they were strongly disagreeing or they were not on board. So for me, one of the practice I do is that for those introverts, I really invite them to the conversation. I really make sure that I kept the extrovert in check for a bit, and making sure that that safe space and silence is there as well, that there's some silence in the room. So for people to be able to jump in and not having just a fight of extrovert there. So for me, that has been, and then I then ask them to say, hey, you're going to go back to your team. How are you going to communicate that? And it's always interesting, like towards the conclusion of I did that with a workshop, a few days workshop a month ago, where I spent actually an hour and a half out of it to get the management team one by one to tell me how they were going to tell to the team what was happened. And it was interesting how to just run through to the group, having those like I had like 3 extrovert, 4 introvert. It was really crazy how asking the introvert to formulate it was a very different thing. That just, do you agree? Are you on board? No, tell me what you're going to say to them. So that's what I wanted to share.
I really like that you made it actionable, no? So you already asked them to reflect on what they are doing next. So, okay, I expect you to do that, by the way. Angela?
I really liked actually Damian's point, but I also wanted to say that we don't always have to be the ones repeating. we can ask them to repeat it and see what did they understand, repeat it or paraphrase it, because that's always when, or something small might come up and then new conversations start because someone just rephrased it and then more assumptions came to the surface.
Very good. Yeah. Bringing the assumptions to the surface. Very good. And now we invite you. Actually, I invite Adam to invite you for an exercise. No?
Yes, we will have a short discussion in breakout rooms. And there's a story that I would like you to listen for a second. I will be brief. So imagine Marian. Marian is the head of customer success of Bingo, a new media startup from Germany. Thanks to one connection of the founders, Bingo unexpectedly can enter the US market now. Big chance. And Marian is leading the project, and lately he presented his plan during the board meeting, and there was this vivid discussion starting between Marian and Livia, head of sales. Livia is the head of sales, about the roadmap, and this discussion was cut by the CEO, who decided that this chance might happen only once, Bingo needs to go for it now, and end of discussion, just do it. And the leadership team, altogether like 12 people, and the leadership team leaves the meeting with a clear goal, but Livia, who carries the market and already misses people in her team, she needs to recruit more, gets back to her work frustrated. And she doesn't follow up with Marian's project. She asks a million of specific market questions to Marian before she starts, and also informally in the team starts questioning the plan. And we would like you to go to breakout rooms and discuss as a team of 3, why did this situation happen? What would you do if you were in Marian's shoes? And how to get buy-in from Livia? Does it make sense? Any questions?
Oh. We are ready.
I see.
But that was so easy. We have the same mindset with Judita, and it was so fun.
We're always ready, Basha. It's the world that is not ready for us.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
We saw it after that you were on the same breakout. We're like, okay, let's build.
That was random or in purpose?
It was random, actually. It was random.
You see, Basha, that's fate.
Destiny, yeah. Definitely, yeah.
It is.
We only see each other one time in real face to face. So she's living in Poznan, me in Warsaw. So, but we are working in one team. So yeah.
And
globalization.
Then new times,
you
new
bond
organization.
Here. Where do you bond? MakeTeamWork Land. Hello. How was it? Miguel opened the camera. Hello, Miguel.
Hello. Sorry, Larissa, I was quite late.
It's okay. No problem.
So anybody wants to share before we go? We are 5 minutes to go and we still have two interesting quick exercises. So maybe quickly, if somebody wants to share, please share.
So why did it happen in your discussion? Why did Livia behave like this and she didn't buy in? What do you think?
Well, I think she just didn't have the opportunity to voice her doubts, to be seen as an expert. So I think there was a problem that she was confronted in that situation. Maybe also quite unprepared. She didn't have the chance to have a conversation before with the other expert, the sales manager.
The customer success, right, Marian?
Yeah.
And what did you decide? What would you do if you were in Marian's shoes?
Well, I was having a discussion with Miguel, and I think we both agreed that this case is almost too easy.
Okay.
Now that obviously both of them, Livia and Marian, they need to voice their opinions, get together, find a solution for that, which might just be to hire the manpower, the resources, and then come up with a good solution together as a team and confront the CEO, because the CEO quite often he don't want, like in a case like that, he's euphoric, he sees the chance of his life, doesn't want to hear all that problem and doubts, but he wants to have a solution and not just a problem, you know. And I think we have two experts here, and I guess they're capable to come up with a good solution.
So what steps should be taken to get buy-in from Livia? Quick summary.
Maybe someone else wants to jump in.
You're on a roll. Keep going.
That Marian, if I may, just
Please.
Sorry. I guess that it would be to the benefit of all if Marian just asked Livia what are her doubts and issues and questions, if they had like one-to-one session and just go briefly through this plan, just to make sure that she also has a feeling that she contributed and not that her doubts and her questions were just pushed aside because she's not as important, or that maybe she may object to some of the items on the roadmap, right? So I guess that if they just get together and discuss things and then address all the issues and doubts, then they made up with maybe slightly altered plan, but it still will be executed along with the CEO's vision, right? And the CEO's plan, just to make sure that, of course, at the end of the day, they should inform the board of the new decision, not to, keep things quiet, but just to make sure that everyone is aware of the situation. And it may happen that Livia actually has some valuable input that may be to the even bigger benefit of the company, right? With her experience and her expertise as well.
So not being cut and having the chance to explain, in one hand, could have given her the chance to buy in, or on the other hand, by sharing her perspective, maybe the decision could have been different. Or okay, let's do an MVP on this market, but it's not that we're changing all our routes towards this one market, potentially. Very nice. So based on this exercise was to inspire us to think about a real case that we might need to promote, in one hand, buy-in, and on the other hand, promote clarity. So I would like to ask you to join me here in Mural and reflect how might we promote buy-in in general in our teams if we think that we face such situations. We are in a team, a decision should be made, and we need everyone to move to the same direction. So to not only express their opinions, but actually buy in. What can you do? We already added some things here. So for instance, forget hierarchy, because maybe I'm not in the leadership team, but I'm engaged in this decision. If I don't have the chance to voice my opinion, it can impact the team. Communicate the expectation that people will cooperate with each other. So sharing this expectation, I expect you all to buy in and to cooperate so we can make this happen. So voicing it out. Showing weaknesses, so leading by example. We don't know if this is the best decision, but we are making it together and I need your help. So we are doing this together. Drive conflict, so make sure that everybody's heard. And now I would like you also to bring your suggestions. What would you do? How might we promote buy-in? Blah, blah. I talked a lot.
You have asked more questions, listen harder, map the needs of stakeholders, ask for fears, include everyone's voice in the discussion, ask what needs to happen to make this project successful, make sure everyone are in a safe environment and have space to share thoughts, focus on what they can have influence on, follow up with more silent people during one-on-one sessions, prototyping potential solutions collaboratively, maybe during retrospectives, no micromanagement, iteration in design and communication, meet regularly and align perspective, and ask what needs to happen to ensure everyone is aligned, convinced. So maybe additional meetings, maybe getting back during regular weekly meetings. Awesome.
Set the goal also and take some time, as Angela shared before, the need to process, no? A little bit, and then maybe have a follow-up meeting. Very good. So let's move for the next one. That is, for us to really achieve commitment, we need not just buy-in, but also clarity. So how might we promote clarity in a team? And here we have a few suggestions. This first one I already mentioned before. So 5 minutes before the end of the meeting, what exactly have we decided here today? Ask everyone to download and make sure you keep the conversation till everyone's clear. Ask people what they think, show that you're listening, show that you need their help. This is decisions, not something that you're doing by yourself. Invite people to challenge goals and approaches. So really go for, what was the thing of the Intel, they say disagree and commit. So promote disagreement, assess process weekly, align on priorities and over communicate them regularly, and take on, Adam.
Yeah, and we have don't assume, paraphrase during discussion to make sure that there is understanding already built, writing a summary of action and circulate for comments. Don't rush the process. Alignment takes time, but delivers ROI. So take your time, make sure that everybody is heard, that we've already looked at all of the perspectives, and we've developed also some standard of taking this decision maybe. I ask the team to review meeting notes, ask people what is their main takeaway, state the obvious, ask each member of what they think they may fail in their part. Yeah, ask people what they need help with is super powerful, and definitely as a leader, it's also great to ask people to help us. Then they feel included, and they also mirror our behavior. So when we ask for help, people start asking for help as well, which creates safer and generally nicer environment. Stay curious and open, over-communicate, use different approaches to explain the same subject, ask questions, ask their points of view about the topic. Help me understand is a good way to show vulnerability. Allow for silence and pit stops. Yeah, I think it's... So, but take turns in keeping the notes of the meetings, more perspectives, more possibilities to clarify. And stay open to clarify, keep the discussion ongoing. Promote
don't
clarity
assume,
in the team. Yeah, don't assume. I would say that, yeah, making sure that everybody speaks out and making sure that we review our objectives and priorities regularly as a team is an awesome way to go. And we have a heart here, don't assume.
Very good. Nice. I think we have good initiatives to promote clarity and to promote buy-in in our teams. So thank you very much. I hope it was nice for you. And our goal now is to wrap up the session. We are 6 minutes late in terms of the official time. Then we stay an extra half an hour to discuss. And I like to wrap up highlighting why conflict and commitment are so important. So teams need to stay committed to their decisions in order to ensure the synergy of actions, avoiding silos and getting things done. And when you look at the 5 dysfunctions, we need trust, we need conflict and commitment to be able to deliver to the next need, that is accountability, that will lead to results. And here you have the link for our next MakeTeamWork Lab, November 3rd. So if you like this, if you want to join us, Zoe just joined again. She's cooking, by the way. Welcome back, Zoe. So please join us. And we would like to ask you for a bit of feedback so we can always improve. It's very important for us. So please share. And then we'll just have a checkout and we're open for discussions and reflections. How was the session? Did it make sense? Where do we see these things happening in our teams? So, but for now, time for feedback.
Yes, tell us what you like, tell us what you wish, so what we can improve. And tell us some ideas, maybe on the way you connected our initiative with some other, or maybe with some of your projects. Feel free to share all your ideas that just popped up in your head meanwhile.
So yes, we had 1 minute of feedback. We are also sharing this board with you as the follow-up. You can also keep it open in your browser so you can get back to it easily if you want to share more feedback. And I invite you to check out. So what's your #1 learning? What are you leaving this session with? What are you trying to implement with your team after today?
For example, in my case, I'm promoting very much the collaboration in my engagements and work with clients. And Lencioni and his model and all the work you are doing is fantastic. I mean, as I said in the chat, the journey you are proposing, the journey through the mural, in this mural, is very good, is very well and very clear, very good. So I really appreciate. For me, it's a very good learning session. And I wonder if is there any recap from the previous two sessions, Larissa?
We have the recording of trust. Something happened to the recording of conflict. Maybe there was a lot of conflict in the session and Zoom decided not to keep it. But we do have the boards for these 2 sessions. And this one we are recording and we have the board and we are sending as a follow-up. So I don't know where you came from, because we have a page in Meetup, we have a page in Luma, we have LinkedIn.
I'm coming from the mural community. I was reading the community web page, and suddenly I saw, this event. I want to go. So this is
perfect. And I know that there was a problem in the link there. So good that you made it. So yes, if you want also to send me your email, I'll send you an invite for the Luma community, and then we can stay connected.
Right now.
Thank you. So what did we learn? So design sessions to include the introverts, very good. That was Damien, I think. Point, state the obvious. What had we decided on today? There are reasonable people in this meetup.